Alright, you bastards, this is Some-Belgian-prepper, and today I look a little bit like the Big Lebowski. And it is necessarily because it's been hot, and it is protection against the sun while I'm working in the yard. And the topic of this video today is there is always that one thing you don't prepare for. And in this case, I want to show you how vulnerable you can be even if you are the biggest homestead prepper. There is always something that happens. In my case, we have a serious problem with heat waves and drought in Belgium right now. It is tomorrow will be the third heat wave, so that means 5 days above 30 degrees Celsius, and it's going to be around 34 degrees Celsius, and the last heat waves were 36, 37 and 38 degrees Celsius. So yeah, and there is not fallen there's only fallen 2 millimeters of rain in the last 2 months or something. So yeah, it's been really tough, especially for me because I'm not a summer person. I My body is not made for heat. My body, I have Viking, literally 30% Viking blood, so my body is made for cold climates. So it is now a very bad time for me. But um, to show you what I meant about you, there is always that one thing you don't prepare for. I will show you. I got all these water systems in my backyard for always having some water, but because it is the one of the lowest rainfalls since 1976. Yeah, the running on Sutical, the last fumes of my homestead. We still have public water, but the problem is if the public water was not available, compromised or whatever, yeah, this would have been a very big problem for me. I will first show you where the systems could have been gone better, and then I can tell you what my plans would be if the situation would get worse when the public water would be turned off. Alright, so as you can see, I don't know if you can see it, but it is my water pit, and this water pit has been a very lifesaver for my yard. I will show you in a minute, because now it's running on its last, I would say it's only 1/8 left in the water pit. And the good thing about this type of water pit, in contrary to some persons I know, is it's just literally a pit in the ground with a lid on for protection against vaporizing insects, rats, that kind of stuff. And I could just pour my buckets inside of it, take it out, and use it for my water filter or for my garden. And yeah, that is about 30, I would say above 1200, 1500 liters of water, rainwater, that is coming from all the roofs being collected in this. But I also got my rain barrel here that is around, I would say 200, 250, 225 liters of water, and it's bare dry. Uh, my garden, I must say, last time we had a big heat wave that was above almost against 40 degrees Celsius 2 years ago. All my gardening plants were just vaporized, and also because I was doing a survival program and I was a long time away from home. So yeah, but I could have saved all my potatoes and my Jerusalem artichokes, so that's already good. The next thing I had in my defensive line was my 3 rain barrels here, and these are about 225 liters at least each. So yeah, that's still a lot of water. That is more for composting. It is still full, but I'd rather not use it to over fertilize my plants. So that is something that I would regularly use, but yeah, this is the one thing that I haven't used yet. So that's around 250 liters of water inside of it. And the last one we got is my barrel. This is about 1/3 full yet, and this is also a little bit composty. So yeah, this is only this 60 liters. So yeah, that's actually a lot of water, and yet I'm almost running dry. So if the public water was not available, I would say I would do the next thing. But before we do that, look what we found here. It's my books called Bloody Crosses and The Jason Murders. So if you're interested in a detective series, these are two of the 11. So take a look in the description for the link, and yeah, they're in Dutch, by the way. All right. So what can one do if the water is running out? Then you have to either first, yeah, it's a little bit annoying with the light. The first thing you have to do is always have some water, fresh water storage inside of your house. So, for example, I have all, if you know, see my previous videos, I have uh, about 200 bottles of water in my cellar of 2 liters each. So yeah, that's a long time of drinking water. But as you know, water is not only for drinking, you also have to do sanitation, hygiene, cooking, that kind of stuff. In my case, also for my animals, my guinea pigs and my chickens. Hello, ladies. uh, so yeah, that's something that you won't go far with it. But I would say, don't touch that water unless you really have to, or keep it in storage for in case the rainwater is being toxic because of a chemical disaster or perhaps even a nuclear incident, that kind of stuff. So beside that, you can always use the rainwater as long as you possibly can. So if that water is running out, then then yeah, I would be screwed because I would have to go to the nearby river. The river is, I would say, close by. It's 200, 300 meters away from my house. You would say that's not far, but the problem is I live close to the harbor area uh, of a big harbor where the river is tapping off. And the problem is, yeah, at certain, I'm not sure if the water in that river is brackish or fresh, because it's so close to the point where the seawater meets fresh water, and it's like a tide. It's like a thing with the low tide and high tide. So yeah, that's something that I need to test out for my future plans. All right. So I want to give you this information so you know that if you want going to test your shit out, then you need to know what you're dealing with. For example, like I said, I need to know if the river water is brackish salt water before I can use that as a plan to gather water, filter it, and in another case I will have to use some desalination filter or something, which is very expensive. So that's something that I perhaps should invest for in the future for my survival plans here. And it's also handy to have it to help your neighbors because yeah, if you're a prepper, I find that you are obligated to help your neighbors, friends, family, and also because otherwise they will break. People will who are very desperate will break into your house anyway. So it's better to help them or help learn them help themselves to help. All right. So if the river was not nearby, what would the next plan be? The next plan would be a little bit more, I would say, desperate, because if the situation would be that desperate, there are contingency plans from the government for handing out water, driving around with water trucks, that kind of stuff, like a sort of rationing system for people who are really needing it. The or rationing like with what giving out water bottles, that kind of stuff. But yeah, and I would also say looking for ponds, uh, friends with swimming pools, that kind of stuff could also help you for a very, very much longer time. So yeah, look around and learn to know your neighborhood, learn to see what's available. And the moment it starts to rain, bring everything out: pots, pans, uh, tarps, just anything to catch on the rainwater, because it's now so dry that all the rats coming from beneath the ground, and yeah, start to getting a rat plague around here yet again. So these are all circumstances that happening with something that I expected to happen, but it's gone much more than I ever imagined. Like I said, the last time it was such a drought was in 1976. So yeah, I just want to make you some aware with this video on how much planning you do. There is always that one thing that just goes a little bit further than you ever would have imagined. It's in my case, it's with the heat, drought, water supply, because the tap water is not already been cut off or has problems, but it starts to get problems. And the thing is, the government is already starting to get into crisis meetings about and bringing out laws that people cannot use it for gardening or washing their cars, and put limitations on sometimes even fines for people who want to have a pool in their fill up a pool in their backyard, that kind of stuff. So that's the kind of level we are dealing with right now, and if it continues like this, things might get a little bit more bad. But no fear, there is always a way, and that's how you should be as a prepper in mindset. Always find a way, improvise, do more with less, and always find a way to survive. So look at in your what's in your area. Is it social unrest, criminality? Is food a big problem? Bugs, pests, that kind of stuff. Are there poisonous animals? Whatever it is, always be prepared and always think. Prepare for the worst, hope for the best, and hope for the best. But be prepared. But if you're prepared for the worst, you can deal with most things, I would say. All right, I rambled enough, so I'm going back to work, and see you in the next video. Like, subscribe, all the good stuff, and cheers.